Music lovers, music producers, music creators, quick quiz for you. What do Led Zeppelin and Ed Sheeran have in common? Stay tuned, I'll tell you. Hey, if you're a music fan, or even if you're just a popular culture fan, you've probably followed the recent story about Katy Perry and her song Dark Horse, which was recently found to infringe the copyright of a song called Joyful Noise produced by a Christian hip-hop artist. Now, there's been a lot of buzz about that case, and we know a little bit something about it here because my law firm represented the plaintiff in that case. But that's not the one I want to talk about. The cases that I want to talk about today involve Led Zeppelin and its legendary song Stairway to Heaven. Frankly, in this old guy's opinion, one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. And that was accused of infringing a song by a band called Spirit and their song Taurus. The original, both of those songs were produced way back in the late 60s when the copyrights involved were created, and the case has been going on for a long, long time. There's an issue there that the courts are addressing, and it's also an issue that's facing Ed Sheeran these days for his song Thinking Out Loud. Now, so Ed's not a modern version of Led Zeppelin, but a world-famous artist in his own right, and he's being accused of infringing an old Marvin Gaye song called Let's Get It On. Now, the thing that both of these cases have in common, and where the courts are focused, is on the particular issue of what is protectable in the original work. So to infringe a copyright in a song, you have to be copying something that the original creator actually has a copyright protectable interest in. So you don't get copyright protection for an A minor followed by an F sharp followed by a G, because that's a building block. But if you assemble those things in a certain way, in a descending chord progression or something like that, you may end up getting copyright protection in that. The issue in the Led Zeppelin case and in the Ed Sheeran case is that back when those songs were recorded, when you submitted a copyright application to the Copyright Office for the original, you had to submit it in the form of sheet music. And it was a common practice back then to do very simplified, maybe some of the lyrics, a few of the chords, not a completely, particularly for rock and roll songs. It didn't have a full score and all of that stuff. That was just the practice. Well, so that's the copyright that the original owners were suing under, both Marvin Gaye and Spirit. Well, in the courtroom in the Led Zeppelin case, which has been going on for a number of years now, the trial court originally did not let the plaintiffs play the sound recording of their song to the jury because it held that the only thing that was protectable was in the deposit copy, which is what you give to the Copyright Office in order to get your copyright registration. Well, the deposit copy didn't have a lot of the things that were in the music, and the jury didn't hear it, and the jury ruled in favor of Led Zeppelin. Now the en banc court in the Ninth Circuit, which is the full Ninth Circuit, is going to hear the case on whether or not deposit copies that are for older music, whether you can actually supplement that with the sound recording or whether all you really get is what you deposited. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's the exact same issue in Ed Sheeran. In fact, the court in the Ed Sheeran case said, pause, let's wait and see what happens in the Led Zeppelin case. The lesson here is this, though, is for if you're creating music now, you don't have these same limitations. So if you're filing a registration for music that you're creating now, you can submit a recording of the sound, and you can, even for the underlying musical composition and for the sound recording itself, the particular version of your song. But if you're originally creating, the key what you want to do is when you file your copyright registration, submit a recording of the song in its complete form. And I would suggest you also submit lead sheets or sheet music or whatever that fully develops out the different parts of your song. You may or may not win an infringement suit later, but at least if you have the full copyright and every part of your song is included in there, you've got a whole lot better chance. And you're not going to find yourself running against Led Zeppelin or Ed Sheeran's of the world without your full copyright. So let's watch and see what happens to Stairway to Heaven. I hope it ends well for the guys. I love that song. But in any event, for you, make sure your deposit copies and your copyright registrations are complete, because you can do that now pretty simply. Take care.